No sirens, no warnings, no headlines yet. Just silence. Somewhere over the Arabian Sea, under a moonless sky, dozens of aircraft are already airborne. They are not attacking, not yet. They are positioning, waiting, preparing the invisible foundation of a war that, if it begins, will unfold faster than most people can comprehend. This is what modern conflict looks like now. Not armies crossing borders, not tanks rolling through cities. It starts with fuel, data, electrons, and shadows in the sky. If the United States were to strike Iran, it would not be loud at first. It would be quiet, precise, and deeply calculated. The opening hours would not be about destruction for its own sake. They would be about removing sight, cutting nerves, and collapsing coordination. This is not speculation pulled from movies. This is how advanced militaries think. This is how air and sea power are designed to work together when the objective is to dismantle a modern state's ability to fight back. Tonight, we are walking through that scenario, not to glorify it, not to predict it, but to understand it. This is day zero. Long before the first missile leaves a ship or the first bound bay opens, the most important aircraft of the entire operation are already in the air. They do not carry bombs. They do not fly fast. They rarely make headlines. Aerial refueling tankers. Without them, nothing else works. Roughly half a day before any strike, U.S. planners would begin building what is essentially a floating fuel network in the sky. From airfields in the Gulf region and distant bases like Diego Garcia, tanker aircraft would launch in waves, climbing to high altitude and settling into carefully planned orbit patterns. Each orbit is deliberate, each altitude chosen to reduce detection, each location calculated to support multiple types of aircraft at once. These tankers allow strike fighters to take off heavier, carrying weapons instead of fuel. They allow stealth bombers to cross oceans without landing. They allow commanders to keep aircraft in the air longer than any defender expects. In modern war, fuel equals time, and time equals options. This is the quiet backbone of everything that follows. When the operation truly begins, it does not start with pilots crossing borders. It starts at sea. Hundreds of miles from the Iranian coastline, U.S. Navy destroyers and submarines receive a coded order. There is no countdown clock visible to the public. No dramatic announcement. On the decks of these ships, vertical launch system hatches open. And then, almost simultaneously, the sea erupts. Cruise missiles rise from the water, ignite, and disappear into the darkness. Dozens of them, possibly more. These missiles are not fast by hypersonic standards. Speed is not their advantage. Precision is. They fly low, extremely low. So low that the curvature of the Earth itself helps hide them from radar. They weave through terrain, hugging mountains, skimming coastlines, adjusting course mid-flight. Their mission is simple and ruthless. Blind the enemy. Radar sites, air defense command centers, communication nodes. If Iran cannot see clearly, it cannot react coherently. And if it cannot coordinate, even advanced systems become isolated targets. This opening salvo is about control, not chaos. It is designed to fracture Iran's integrated air defense system into disconnected pieces. By the time the first explosions are heard, the most important damage is already done. While cruise missiles are still impacting, another part of the plan is already unfolding far above. Stealth bombers. The B-2 Spirit does not rush into combat. It drifts into it. Launching from distant bases beyond the reach of Iranian missiles, these aircraft rely on distance, altitude, and near invisibility. Their routes are planned months in advance, constantly updated with intelligence on radar coverage, missile deployments, and electronic emissions. The reason they launch from so far away is not convenience, it is survival. Closer bases would expose them during takeoff. And on the ground, even the most advanced aircraft are vulnerable. From safe distances, the B-2S cross oceans, refuel midder, and approach hostile airspace long after the cruise missiles have begun degrading defenses. They are not meant to overwhelm. They are meant to penetrate. At the same time, another fight is raging that most people never see: the electronic war. Specialized aircraft escort the strike force, emitting powerful signals designed to confuse, overload, and disrupt enemy systems. Radars see ghosts. Communications fill with static. Missile operators struggle to tell real targets from decoys. This is not brute force jamming. It is tailored interference, adjusted in real time based on enemy responses. Inside command centers, U.S. analysts watch live feeds, tracking which Iranian systems go silent and which attempt to adapt. Every reaction becomes a data point. Every emission is a clue. Modern war is as much about information dominance as physical destruction. Iran's most sensitive facilities are not on the surface. They are buried, deep underground, reinforced with concrete and rock, designed to survive conventional attack. This is where the most specialized weapons come into play. Massive bunker-penetrating bombs, carried only by a handful of aircraft, rely on gravity and sheer mass rather than explosive force alone. Released from extreme altitude, they strike with such momentum that they drive deep into hardened structures before detonating. The timing matters. The angle matters. The altitude matters. Everything is calculated so the weapon arrives exactly where planners intend, not a meter off. These strikes are not numerous. They are selective. Each one is meant to remove a capability that cannot be easily rebuilt. With major air defenses degraded and key nodes hit, conventional strike aircraft enter the fight. These are the workhorses. Heavily armed, highly flexible, capable of striking multiple targets in a single sortie. They hunt mobile missile launchers, supply convoys, secondary command posts, and remaining air defense elements. Their sensors scan terrain constantly, searching for movement that suggests relocation or deception. They rarely operate alone. They move in coordinated pairs or packages, supported by electronic warfare aircraft and protected by fighters tasked with air superiority. And when they run low on fuel or weapons, they do not leave the fight. They refuel, they rearm mentally, and they return. Out at sea, U.S. aircraft carriers transition from presence to projection. Deck operations accelerate. Aircraft launch in tight cycles, one after another, creating a continuous flow of sorties into contested airspace. Carrier-based fighters focus on two missions. First, destroying any remaining radar or missile systems that dare to activate. Second, defending the larger strike architecture from aerial threats. Airborne command aircraft orbit at safe distances, managing traffic, assigning targets, and ensuring no part of the operation becomes isolated. From above, the battle space looks like controlled chaos. Hundreds of aircraft, thousands of decisions, all synchronized to minute-by-minute timelines. For Iran, this is the hardest moment. Fighter aircraft may still be operational, but coordination is degraded. Communications are unreliable. Radar coverage is inconsistent. Launching intercepts becomes risky. Pilots may not know what they are flying into until it is too late. And stealth aircraft complicate everything. You cannot fight what you cannot see. Any attempt to surge defenses risks revealing positions to sensors that are already watching. Every decision carries danger. Striking is only half the challenge. Leaving safely is just as complex. As aircraft turn westward, electronic warfare intensifies again. Decoys are released. Escorts tighten formation. Tankers wait at pre-arranged points, ready to refuel aircraft that have burned more fuel than planned. This phase is tense. This is when defenders may attempt last-ditch responses. But layered protection, long-range missiles, and constant surveillance reduce those risks. Gradually, the sky begins to thin. The most dangerous hours pass. Phase 10. The morning after, by sunrise, the visible fighting slows. But the operation is not over. Assessments begin immediately. Damage reports, satellite imagery, signals intelligence. Analysts determine what was destroyed, what survived, and what may need follow-up action. Day zero is not about ending a war. It is about shaping what comes next. Whether escalation stops or accelerates depends on decisions far beyond the cockpit. This is why modern conflict is so frightening. It is not chaotic at the start. It is organized, measured, efficient, and once it begins, reversing it becomes very difficult. Understanding how such operations are planned does not make war inevitable. It makes it clearer why leaders hesitate, calculate, and delay. Because behind every strike plan is a reality no simulation can fully capture: lives, consequences, and a world holding its breath.